करूँ या फ़ोन कर दूँ? क्या कहते हैं, नाम ने उठाया नहीं है। नाम ने उठाया नहीं है।
we will be starting the webinar shortly. Nidhi ma'am has joined.
Very good morning to all.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Very good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am,
morning,
shall
all.
we start?
Yeah, you should start because net is very poor here.
Very true. Namaskar. As we all know, that year 2020 is the year which has taught many things. Everything is reshaped, but yeah, it has made everyone techno savvy. Educating the mind without educating the heart is not education at all. The purpose of pre primary education is to support the children's growth into humanity and make them ethically responsible member of society. It is to provide them knowledge and skills needed in life. Dream learning. With dream, we mean dedication, responsibility, education, attitude, and motivation. As each parent, teacher, and a student has a dream to fulfill, and together we can fulfill their dreams. With this, I, Nidhi Kohli, Pre-Primary Wing Coordinator and moderator for today's webinar, wishing you a very energetic morning with the hope that by the end of the webinar, we all will be more enriched. I would like to welcome our motivator and son, that is SUN of JSS family, Mrs. Rohini Aima, Principal cum Vice Chairperson, Jammu Sanskriti School, Ms. Avneet Buddhiraja, Senior Wing Coordinator, Ms. Prabjot Kaur, Middle Wing Coordinator, Ms. Varuna Mangotra, Primary Wing Coordinator, Ms. Trishna, CCA Coordinator, Ms. Tanya, Online Resource Coordinator. May I take the opportunity to request a Principal Ma'am, come Vice Chairperson, Mrs. Rohini Emma, to kindly address the gathering?
Very good morning to the team of GSS Jammu. On the onset, I would like to welcome and convey my best wishes to the moderator of this webinar, Dream Learning, Ms. Nidhi Kohli, Coordinator Pre-Primary Wing. Team members of all the pre-primary sections, pre-nursery, nursery and prep, and of course the technical team members, that is Ms. Munmun Kohli and Ms. Tanya, for arranging and coordinating this webinar on this day. Dream learning, as the topic goes by for today's webinar. Dear teachers, for students, it is possible only when there is the classroom that is engaging to learn in a better manner. And dream learning for the students is possible only when there are engaging classrooms and the teachers do create the classrooms where there is observation, where there is demonstration, inquiry. And of course, the core concepts must be clear by using the various pedagogical approaches for which we, the teachers and the educators, must work on self-improvement and learn the latest innovations and advances in the profession that is called teaching. We as teachers need to upgrade our skills first to make our classrooms engaging and entertaining for our small children, especially the section of kindergarten, where the dream learning for them will come true. I am sure with your inputs from each one of you, each team member and the panelist who will be putting across the viewpoints of their topics, I am sure each one of us will be enriched by your words that we will get to know today, and the students will get their dream learning possible in your classrooms. With this, best wishes to each one of you. Thank you and have a nice and wonderful event today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Before I commence, I would highlight the topic of today's webinar, which a panelist would discuss along with certain guidelines. First, Ms. Jagdeep Kaur, Teaching Techniques. Useful tips to improve teaching by Ms. Harmeet Kaur. Why stories are important for toddlers, Ms. Isha Bandral. Phonetic sounds, Ms. Minakshi Sharma. What is the role of a teacher in pre-primary, Ms. Radha Devi. In teaching strategies, is writing important? Ms. Anuradha Gupta. Basic manners, including the three magical words, Ms. Nitika Kurana. Is it true that the concepts once cleared in pre-primary will last lifelong? By Ms. Gurpreet Kaur. Before we begin, let me announce a few rules which a panelist will have to adhere to. First, you will be given 5 minutes to speak. Secondly, a bell will ring after 4 minutes so that you can wind up your presentation. Then the third is after completion, you will be having a question answer session, which will be for 1 minute duration. Kindly keep yourself on the mute mode unless you are asked to unmute so as to avoid any kind of echo in between. Also, you have to keep your videos on throughout the webinar. Language will be bilingual, that is English or Hindi. So we start with the first panelist, Ms. Jagdeep Kaur, Teaching Techniques.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am. A very good morning to respected principal ma'am, coordinators, and all the panelists. I, Jagdeep Kaur, would like to share some views on teaching techniques through this webinar today. First of all, I would like to give you a brief on the meaning of the term teaching techniques. As we all know that the teaching techniques is comprised of two words, that is teaching plus techniques. Teaching can be defined as an art of giving knowledge, whereas techniques can be defined as the skills you have acquired with experience and applying it as per your requirement. As we all know that the classroom is a dynamic environment, bringing together students from different backgrounds with various abilities and personalities, being an effective teacher therefore requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching techniques in order to meet individual needs. So, there are n number of teaching techniques, but today I will discuss few teaching techniques in front of you. Following are the teaching techniques which I have mentioned: project-based method, task-based method, creative teaching, brainstorming session, storyboard teaching, gamification, formative assessment, audiovisual material. My first teaching technique which we use in the class usually is project-based method. It is a teaching technique in which teacher design a project and the students will gain knowledge and skills by working for an extended period of time. We can give them different projects like making of a family tree, making wall hangings of vowels, making of abacus, etc. Task-based method. Task-based method focuses on asking students to do meaningful tasks using the target. The examples of tasks can be going to the market, paying the bills. Doing this will help them to increase their knowledge on currency, as well as they can be able to count the different quantities of things which they have purchased. Creative teaching. Next one, creative teaching focuses on encouraging the child's creativity. Educators can use different games or visual exercises to develop their creative thinkings among learners. For example, we can give them paint and brushes and let them take out the paints whichever they need and make a colorful painting on a wall or a page. This will enhance their creative thinking. Next is brainstorming session. Brainstorming is a large or small group activity that encourages students to focus on a topic and contribute to the free flow of ideas. It helps to make everyone participate in the classroom activities and find out the solution together. Example of this activity can be like giving an object to the student and give them few minutes to think of it. And after that, we can tell them to share their views on the object. Story teaching. Story teaching, any information told in the form of story is usually remembered. That's why using storyboard is one of the great ways of teaching different types of topic. For example, we can create a storyboard on the topic seasons and paste different season on that, so that student by watching regularly, they can be able to know which types of season is going on and what to do on that season, what to wear on that season. Gamification. Learning through playing is one of the really effective approaches. It can help the students have fun and study at the same time. Educators can create projects or quizzes and provide extra motivation to encourage students. Competition makes the learners perform better. Formative assessment. Formative assessment is an alternative to summative one. It aims at monitoring the students' progress in the course of study. Through assessment, we can track weak spots and find out the fields they need to be concentrated on. Last but not the least is using audio and video materials. Adding audio and video into the traditional learning experience improve the understanding of the topic for visual and auditory learners. It also helps to develop imagination and keep learners interested and involved. In this, we can use smart class and show them different stories or rhymes on it and help them to tell the story also. To sum up, I would like to say that whether you have been teaching for 2 months or 20 years, it is difficult to know which teaching technique will work best with your students. So, as a teacher, there is no one size fits all solution. It is a teacher's style or teacher tricks to accomplish the immediate objective. Thank you. That's all from my side. Not audible, ma'am. Nidhi, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jagdeep ma'am. With this, we are really refreshed with the technical techniques we need to follow. So now my question to you is, as due to COVID-19, there's an addition in teaching technique. What do you say or find is a better technique to teach students?
Yeah, teaching in the class, I think we have to use different techniques. But in this pandemic, it was very difficult to know which technique should we use. Then after learning or going to net, we found that there are many apps available in the online sessions. So we use Zoom app. I think Zoom app and Microsoft app, they both are very useful for teaching students because on it we can share the screen, we can share videos, we can scribble on the screen, and the students are always eager to scribble. So they also do the same with us. And now after teaching so many times, I as well as my students, they are eager to join Zoom and do their class. And nowadays they are saying, oh, ma'am, this is my online friend Nistay. Oh, hi Nistay, hi Sarthak. Now it is very good to attend class in the Zoom. I think it is one of the best technology.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So now we will move on to our next panelist, Ms. Harmeet Kaur, with the topic Useful Tips to Improve Teaching.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am. A warm morning, one and all present here. I am very thankful to our management for giving me opportunity to be the panelist of today's webinar. I am going to share my views in front of you on the topic useful tips to improve teaching skills. Now, how to improve teaching skills as a teacher? Teaching is an art and respectful profession which requires good patience, strong context knowledge, and most importantly, the right delivery and tone. An educator should have in-depth information about these difficult types of subject and should also possess knowledge in other aspects which could help have to get better control over the class. Becoming better teacher is something all educators should be concerned with. Good teachers are effective classroom managers and communicator who can adapt to a variety of learning style and effectively instruct a large percentage of the class. Improvement of the teaching in the classroom can be obtained by putting together a plan of action and following it through. Teachers who make the extra effort to improve their teaching can make a significant impact on the lives of students. Teachers should undertake the psychology of the class to address their needs and should develop a suitable strategy according to improve the productivity of the class. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought life to stand still across the world, and as a result, education has changed dramatically. I suggest some basic skills that teachers need to have stand out. First is commitment. Teachers are committed to their work and to the education of young people and be truly engaged in this profession. Next is preparation. Teachers need to have excellent skills to be able to communicate with students in a remote classroom setup in this pandemic. Teachers also need to be a good listener as student asking more questions. Next is tolerance. It is necessary for teachers to manage any prejudice they may have and to treat all their students equally without strong favoritism. Next is storytelling. Best way to teach and transfer idea is through stories. The best teachers have used this method in their classes for centuries. Next is innovative. Teachers must be willing to innovate and try new things. That is teaching through educational apps, electronic device. I would like to share something which I have prepared for my students. Three-letter words with the help of wheel. H, A, T, hat. B, A, T, bad. From this, students learn easily and enjoy this method. Next is open to question. Discussion in class encouraging students and implementing new teaching techniques. Teachers must be open to answering their student questions. Next is organization. Good organization and planning of a course in advance and are key factor of success. It is very important that a teacher organize the lesson properly and allocate the time to cover it. Last one is new ways of teaching. With physical classrooms shut, teachers need to be able to find new ways of teaching through the use of technology. Teachers need to have skill to use these tools to quickly blend into an online models where artificial intelligence increasingly used for education. At last, I must say, good teaching must be slow enough so that it is not confusing and fast enough so that it is not boring. Thank you. That's all my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harmeet
Thank
ma'am.
you, Nidhi ma'am. Nidhi ma'am, just to interrupt you in the mid, sir has joined us, so kindly welcome him.
I would like to welcome our chairperson, Mr. Harpreet Singh Anand, for the webinar for today with the topic Dream Learning. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am. Thank you. God bless you.
So, Harmeet ma'am, I think these tips are really will really help to improve teaching and to be a perfect teacher. So now it's your question turn. So tell me about a time when you used your maximum tips for a child to adjust or give the best. How did you motivate your students? Harmeet ma'am, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am. It is my personal experience. I still remember last year, there was a girl named Sai Bhavna in my class. She was from Kerala. She had a language problem. She is not able to speak Hindi, even English or write. For that, I used different methods like more and more interaction with her, showing flashcards, making things fun, um, um, and the mid of the year she was well adjusted in my class. That is my personal experience.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
Harmeet ma'am. Thank you so much. It's really inspiring. So now we'll be moving forward to a third panelist, Ms. Isha Bendral, with the topic Why Stories Are Important for Toddlers.
Thank you, ma'am. A very warm good morning to all the present dignitaries. If you want your children to be smart, tell them stories. And if you want them to be brilliant, tell them more stories. It is very rightly said by Albert Einstein. So, my topic for today is why stories are important for toddlers. As it is already explained by Harmeet ma'am, that it is the oldest form of teaching and teachers are using it in classroom from centuries. I would also like to share my views on that only. So firstly, I want to answer why stories. In ancient time, long before written languages developed, people used to tell stories to preserve history. Storytelling is the only form of teaching. It is the original form of teaching either. It has the potential of fostering emotional intelligence and help the child gain insight into human behavior. There are still societies where it is the only form of teaching. Those attempts have made to update it, but still oral life storytelling will never be out of fashion. Now, I would like to explain why stories are important for toddlers. While listening to stories, children develop a sense of structure that will later help them to understand more complex stories. Stories are not only important for language and literacy development, but it also play a vital role in the growth and brain development of students. Now, I would like to share a few advantages of listening to stories. First is academic learning. Stories introduce toddlers to new vocabulary as we generally communicate with limited numbers of words in classroom or at home. Next is memory capacity. Memory capacity of children can be increased by asking them to remember the story or by asking them where we have stopped the previous day. Next is spark creativity. By demanding toddlers to share their contribution in the story or by asking them to narrate a possible climax, we can spark creativity or we can encourage them to create a new story. Next is virtues and morals. Honesty, truthfulness, gratitude, and many such attributes can be ingrained in them by compelling stories. Next is culture. Vary from one land to another, from homeland to foreign places, stories will make the child appreciate diversities. Next is emotional intelligence. Stories help in achieving awareness and control over one's emotions and expressions. Next is empathy. Stories build the ability to think for others, understanding others' feeling make one a better individual. And the last point is budding storyteller. Listening to stories may inspire toddler to pen down their own narrations in future. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that sharing stories, talking, singing, and reading together are the few activities that help developing child's brain, ability to focus, concentration, and social skills. This helps child to learn the difference between real and make-believe world. They will also understand new events, frightening events, and also learn about the world. The special time that we spend during a storytelling session promotes or helps in building relationship with toddlers. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isha ma'am. And very true. Stories really play a very important role in our life.
Yes.
And in my childhood also, I think I used to listen stories, used to listen stories from my grandmother.
Yes.
So now my question to you is, what competencies does a teacher need to carry out storytelling activities in the class?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, according to me, I think a teacher must be understanding. Like, teacher must understand the listeners first, that what they want to listen, whether they want to listen to a fairy tale or they want to listen to a Superman story. Secondly, I think teacher must understand the timing, like what timing will be perfect for a storytelling session, when they are fresh, when they are not feeling hungry, or when they are not tired. And a few competencies that a teacher must possess are, I think, teacher not should not narrate a story. They should actually act out a story. It should be with full emotions and expressions like happiness, sadness, change of pitch, etc. And we should also use creative words, effective vocabulary, so that we will be able to communicate our ideas in the exact way. And I think we should also be bilingual, like English is not our first language, so we should use word from Punjabi, Hindi, and Dogri also. Thank you.
Thank you, Isha ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we'll be moving to a fourth panelist, Ms. Meenakshi Sharma, with the topic phonetic sounds.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very warm good morning to all present here. I, Meenakshi Sharma, would like to thank the school management for giving me the opportunity to be the panelist of this today's webinar. Today, I am going to talk about the phonic sounds. Phonics is the study of sound or a method of teaching and reading. An example of phonics is a method used to teach reading by learning the sounds that groups of letters make when spoken. The study of how the sounds of the words are represented by spelling. Basic phonics. Basic phonics rules help us to read and understand the English language. It teaches them to recognize letter patterns in words. Once they have learned them, they can reuse those patterns when writing or reading. Now, importance of phonic sounds. Phonics instruction teaches children how to decode letters into their respective sounds, a skill that is essential for them to read unfamiliar word by themselves. It draws your attention to the details and the combination of the letters of the word. Scientific studies have repeatedly found that explicit systematic phonics instruction is the most effective way to teach children how to read. Without it, some children will end up having serious reading difficulties. Teaching children the sounds made by individual letter or letters. For example, the letter C makes a k sound, and teaching children how to merge separate sounds together to make it one word. For example, blending the sounds k-a-t cat makes c-a-t cat. Another example is T says t tomato, t tap. Now, this type of phonics teaching is often referred to as a synthetic phonics. Now, types of phonics instruction it should be given to the children. The first one is explicit instruction. The way that working memory issues affect the way struggling students interpret sounds and their visual representation requires that they receive instruction that logically builds from the smallest concept to more complex concepts. That's what explicit phonics means, that we start with the simplest sound in a word and then build out from there, from patterns to syllables and then the whole. Explicit phonics is a key component in the broader structural literacy approach. And the second one is systematic instruction. Research has found that students that struggle with reading having working memory issues, thus the ability to filter, categorize, and prioritize information is very difficult for struggling students. Thus, instruction needs to filter, categorize, and prioritize information for them. They need systematic instruction that guides them through each phonetic and decoding skill using a step-by-step logical sequence. At last, I conclude about my topic that the effective phonics instruction is important because letter sound knowledge is the foundation needed to build up reading and writing abilities. The phonics screening check will indicate whether children have gained the necessary skills. If not, schools need to review current methods that stick with evidence-based principles of explicit and systematic phonics teaching. Thank you, everyone. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. This
Thank you,
shows
ma'am.
that phonics is really important.
Yeah, ma'am, of course.
So my question to you is, like at a time when we used to study, we didn't have phonetic sounds. So can we learn the phonetic sounds at the later ages?
Yes, of course, ma'am. Very true. You are absolutely right, ma'am. In our time, we didn't have phonetics and we don't have any knowledge about the phonetic sounds. But in recent times, phonetics is the most important technique in the English teaching learning language. Uh, at later stages, we have to learn phonic sounds through so many ways and method to learn these sounds. That is social media, internet, even in our mobile phone there are so many apps like YouTube, Google. Through these apps you have to listen the audio clips also, you can watch the videos, and even you can also reading the books also. That is very important to learn these sounds. I think through phonic sound your pronunciation is so good, and you have to improve your speaking skills, writing and reading skills also. That's it, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am. Actually, what I also think, like there's no age to learn something new.
Yeah, ma'am, of course, ma'am.
So moving on to our next panelist, Miss Radha Devi, with the topic, what is the role of a teacher in pre-primary?
First of all, I would like to thanks to management for giving me a wonderful opportunity. Myself Radha, and today I am going to share my views on the topic of what is the role of a teacher in a pre-primary. Preschool teachers are responsible for the early education of a children in their care. Duties and responsibilities of preschool teachers include developing and delivering interactive learning programs designed to engage and educate young children. Away from the security of the home, children are trying to find their bearings in a new environment, and it is up to the teacher to create this atmosphere in their classroom. Now, move on role of a teacher in a pre-primary. Teaching pre-primary kids is a challenging job, but also eminently satisfying. The fact that pre-primary teachers are training the innocent children to become a successful leaders of tomorrow. First is make or break the child's interest in education. A pre-primary teacher plays a major role in child's life. A kid's experience with his teacher can literally make or break his interest in education and learning. Second is beyond to the teaching lessons. The role of a pre-primary teacher is not just limited to a teaching lessons. They also expect to make the kids socialized and interact with each other. Third is help children to overcome their separation and anxiety. Their innocent mind is not really aware of what they will face, how they should act, etc. They find strangers all around. In such scenario, role of a pre-primary teacher becomes eminently significant. They try to understand the emotions and feelings of the kids. Fourth one is focus on each and every child individually. No two kids are alike, so it's important for a pre-primary teacher to observe and analyze the strengths and weaknesses of each child separately. They devise strategies keeping in mind individual kids so that they grow properly. Fifth is regular interaction between parents and the teachers. It is very important both sides can discuss the growth and developmental process of the child. In fact, it is one of the major responsibility of a teacher to make the parents aware of progress made by the child. Now, a pre-primary teacher must possess few qualities for effective classroom lessons. For example, patience and a sense of humor. Patience and a humor to keep children engaged during lessons should be there. Second is creativity. Games and other teaching techniques that can keep the children focused should be there. Third is flexibility. Being flexible or going off course is sometimes important to keep the things on track. Fourth is communication skills. Teacher must be able to communicate with young learners on their level. Fifth is educational qualification. It ensures basic learning, objectives, and developmental milestones of young children. Sixth is passion. Passion and enthusiasm for fun and helping young children should be there. Seventh is understanding diversity. Early child is different and follow different learning style. A teacher should accept these differences. Hence, preschool teachers plays a key role for preparing preschoolers for their school life. Thank you, ma'am. It's all over from my side.
Thank you so much, Radha ma'am. Thank you so much. So, moving forward to your question, as a pre-primary teacher, how will you create or maintain a happy and welcoming learning environment for your students?
Okay, ma'am. According to me, I'm a pre-nursery teacher, so I know children directly come from their mother's lap. So I will create a safe, learning, and stimulating environment for them, and I will groom overall developmental domains like physical, social, emotion, cognitive domains. So, as we all know, children learn by doing. So I will try to make some planned activities that they can learn more easily and effective learnings, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Radha ma'am. Thank you so much. Now we'll move on to our next panelist, Miss Anuradha Gupta. In teaching strategies, is writing important?
Thank you so much, management, for giving me such a beautiful platform. I, Anuradha Gupta, extend a very warm good morning to all. who have joined us today. Now I am going to put forth my generalization on teaching strategies. Is writing important? Let us explore the meaning of writing. What is writing? Writing is the process of using symbols to communicate thoughts and ideas in a readable form. To write clearly, it is essential to understand the basic system of a language. This includes knowledge of letters, strokes, and formation of alphabets. Let's see why writing is important. Throughout their First, writing is an important part of a child's education. Throughout this school's years, children need to do assignments, write letters, words, sentences, answer questions, and in general demonstrate their understanding of a topic on paper. This is applicable from the moment they begin school all the way until they end and beyond. Writing is intricately linked with communication. Children will need to learn how to express their thoughts and feelings clearly by the written words. Next, writing enhances critical thinking and problem solving skills. Before your child puts pen to paper, they need to think about what they want to say and how they can say it in a logical manner. The more often they practice writing, the quicker and better your child will improve their critical thinking and problem solving skills. Next, the significance of writing mentioned in New Education Policy 2020. I would like to acknowledge about New Education Policy strategy for kindergarten. It has formalizes early childhood education. New Education Policy also stresses the need of activity-based teaching learning with the aid of games. The new education policy promises such opportunities available to be million of underprivileged children in writing will be inculcated in a totally different, rather novel way. Next, writing is an excellent form of self expression. In order to express himself or herself as a wise, funny, whatever unique personality reflects through writing. Next, writing encourages creativity and imagination. The child, by writing, can explore creative ideas and possibilities, dream up new stories, and do anything actually, whatever he or she mind desires. Moreover, both left and right part of brain are put into action by writing. Last but not the least, it helps with memory retention. We normally say children will read these, don't understand them, and write down in their notebooks. So writing help in learning their materials. The more confident a child is with writing, the more confidently he or she can tackle this task. Finally, I would now summarize focus on the significance of writing, as writing gives them early and much needed exposure with literacy. Writing enhances their skill of handwriting, to learn to spell, to learn to punctuate, and other skills. I would rather stress on writing as a primary skill of learning language. Although it is a novel idea, what its outcome will justify it. That's all from my side. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anuradha ma'am. My question to you is, how can we improve writing skills in toddlers?
Okay, ma'am. According to me, first of all, we should develop fine motor skills. Fine motor skills is the coordination of small muscles like hand and eye. Fine motor skills can be improved by giving them some tasks like folding clothes, mixing clay, and cutting a paper. We should focus on giving a good place to writing, such as desk, table, board, or even a sandpit. We can hand over a worksheet to them. Even if they are coloring, we should not stop them. Children use writing tools like pencils, chalk, markers, crayons, etc. Teacher can also write along with them so that students show interest in what they are writing and try to copy them. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anuradha ma'am. So now moving forward towards the second last panelist, Ms. Nitika Kurana, with the topic Basic Manners. including the three magical words.
Thank you, ma'am. We are all born as empty vessels. Those need to be filled with good manners. Good morning, everyone. I extend my greetings to one and all present over here. Today, I, Nitika Khurana, will share my views on basic manners. Basic manners means polite behavior that shows other people respect, courtesy, and kindness. It is knowing how to treat people well at all times. Basic manners, or we can say good manners, are very important in life. They make our day to day life smooth and easy. A rich man had a crowd of flatters around him, and a powerful man may be obeyed by people just out of fear. But a man with pleasing manners is genuinely loved and appreciated by all. The right age to teach good manners. It is never too early to start teaching your child the importance of good manners. Children at young age has incredibly absorbent brains. They remember what they are taught with clarity, and their mind absorbs everything much faster than they would at a later age. Manners in children is an indicator that they have been brought up well. It is important that we as teachers or parents exhibit the best manners in front of our children so that they can watch and learn. Children with good manners always have an edge over others, whether it is academically or socially. Now, I will tell you some now basic manners include some magical words. Now, I will tell you what are magical words. Magical words are simple words used while interacting with others that portray good manners and leaves everyone with a pleasant feeling. Now, following are some of the magical words everyone needs to know and use. Number one is please. This is one of the first basic manner to teach your child. The importance of saying please when asking something should be instilled in children from the very beginning. The second magical word is thank you. Learning to say thank you for every good deed will help children grow into independent adults with less sense of entitlement. Number three is sorry. Along with the please and thank you, saying sorry when you have done something wrong is also an important habit to instill in the child. We should teach our child when and where to say sorry. Number fourth is excuse me. This is another basic manner, or we can say magical.
Nitika ma'am, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Number fourth is excuse me. This is another basic manner, or we can say magical word for children to learn. Children are naturally impatient, so they have to be taught to say excuse me and ask permission to talk. Along with these magical words, here are some basic manners which are benefited for the children. Number one is learning to share. This habit becomes very important for kids when they play with others. They should be taught that sharing is caring. The number two is asking before taking anything. Children should learn to ask permission before taking anything that is not there, even with people like mom and dad. Number three is knocking at the door before entering. Kids should be taught that privacy is paramount, especially at home. They should know that it is respectful to knock on someone's door and ask permission before entering the room. Number fourth is covering one's mouth when sneezing and coughing. Teach your kids to cover their mouth when they sneeze or cough. This is not only a part of good manners but also hygiene. Number fifth is not making fun of people. This should be taught that it is never okay to hurt someone's feeling by making fun of them. Number six is showing respect to elders. Adults have been on this earth since longer time, and kids should be taught that experience leads to wisdom and wisdom leads to respect. They should be taught to show respect to their parents, grandparents, teachers, and any other adults. So these are some of the basic manners which should be inculcated in the children at a very early age. So, to conclude, I would like to say that good manners, basic elements that will instill a sense of etiquette in your children and make them better human beings when they grow up. A polite, considerate child will make the best impression on the world. So, start teaching your kids these manners when they are young itself. Thank you. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nitika ma'am. I can understand like when we follow the three magical words, we can do wonders. So my question to you is, what is the difference between good manners and the right conduct? What is the importance of good manners in a life?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for the question. As you have asked that what is the difference between good manners and the right conduct? So, good manners convey respect to those you interact with, and right conduct is living in a moral and ethical way. So, basically, right conduct is the behavior, and the way through which we communicate with others are the good manners. So now let's talk about the importance of good manners. As I have already explained about the importance of good manners are very important in one's life as it makes them socially adjustable and help them leading a successful life. A person with pleasing manners is generally loved and appreciated by all. So I think good manners are very important in one's life. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nitika ma'am. So now we'll move on to our last panelist, Ms. Gurpreet Kaur, with the topic, is it true that the concepts once cleared are lifelong?
Thank you, ma'am, and a very good morning to all the dignitaries present in this webinar. I, Gurpreet Kaur, and my topic for today's webinar is it true that the concepts once created in pre-primary are lifelong? A pre-primary school is an educational establishment or a learning space offering early childhood education to children before they begin compulsory education at primary level. The pre-primary education ensures the growth of a child in five domains, that is physical, mental, emotional, social and cultural. The child develops his cognitive skills in the scientific curriculum of the pre-primary education that nurtures the child. The process of learning goes on throughout the life, but during these early years, children have more curiosity and innate desire to learn. Children observe whatever is around them, talk, discuss, and ask questions, thereby stretching their imagination for possibilities and formulate answers. Views of scholars on pre-primary education. For pre-primary education, the scholars of developmental psychology and child development like Piaget, Bernard, or Vygotsky have emphasized on the play, activity-based, and interactive learning as the natural modes of learning. They proposed that the children represent information and knowledge in their memory in three different but interrelated modes, such as action-based, image-based, and language or symbol based. In other words, these scholars explained that this was possible through the concept of spiral and scientific curriculum, which involved the information being structured so that the complex ideas can be taught at simplified level first and then revisited the complex levels later on. The various subjects taught at pre-primary include different concepts for the holistic development of a child. First is language. In English, the children at this stage learn the phonic sounds which are related to the accent of 2 to 3 letter words, and gradually it goes to 5 to 6 letter words. And in Hindi, the concept of vyanjans, akshars, and matras are given first and then moving gradually to the reading or writing of shabds and vakyas by using these matras. In mathematics, children grasp the knowledge of numerals from 1 to 100 along with the introduction of addition, subtraction, and missing numbers, backward counting, number names, greater and smaller number concepts. These are all practiced to strengthen their number sense. Environmental studies. It means to acquire the knowledge of the nature in which they study about the plants and animals, human body parts and personal hygiene, fruits and flowers, physical features of the surroundings, and these all includes this helps in the children to develop their own insight into the functioning and understanding of the human processes in their environment. And last one is rhyme and action songs. Rhymes offer oral support to children and add value to children's language and learning foundation. Children sing the songs by mean of rhyming words and different movements of the body with the help of actions. For instance, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. It includes the rhyming words as well as the body actions. Moving further, the skills and the knowledge that a child develops in the pre primary have a great impact on the aptitude and attitude of a child's present as well as future life, as they learn and develop in a stimulating, nurturing, supportive, and protective environment of a pre primary school. Researches on pre primary education and preschool education have shown that the concepts and skills taught at an early age usually have improved learning processes, lesser behavior problems, and better grades in future. According to the National Institute of Early Education Research, children who attend a good preschool, having skilled teachers, child centric teaching learning processes, stimulating environment, have a better pre reading, writing, math, science skills than those who didn't go to a preschool or attain any pre primary education. And hence, it is pretty much evident that the concepts, if once cleared in pre primary, are lifelong because they are the foundation of child's future learning processes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gurpreet, ma'am. Basically, what I think is child's life is like a piece of paper on which each and every person they meet leaves a mark.
Yes, ma'am. Very true.
So my question to you is, like you said that the concept once clear stay lifelong. Can you tell me any concept which you had since your childhood, which you had experienced and you remember?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, if I talk about my childhood days, I remember our teacher has given us the concept of animals, their homes, and their sounds through a rhyme. And the rhyme is a cow in a shed, a cow in a shed. Moo moo says a cow in a shed. It's still fresh in my mind, and whenever I have to give this concept to my students, I follow the same technique, and I choose different rhymes according to the requirement of my concepts. Like for the topic of human body parts, I use the rhyme head, shoulder, knees and toes, where children touch their body parts and learn it in a fun way. And I think that this helps in the better understanding and strengthening of that concept. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gurpreet ma'am. Thank you so much. So before I conclude, I request a principal ma'am if she wants to say something to the today's panelists.
Thank you, Nidhi ma'am, and all the panelists.
Thank
First
you.
of all, I would like to congratulate to each one of you for elaborating on given themes and topics and putting across wonderful ideas. Now, dear teachers, I would like to say that time endures but cannot fade the memories created by good teachers during the formative years of young children. Memories of this stage are like treasures which are like sunshine and warmth that stay in their lives throughout. Toddlers have incredible absorbent minds and memories, values, mannerisms, and academic concepts cleared in pre-primary stages create lifelong learners. With this, once again, congratulations, a wonderful session, and all the best to all of you because you all are excellent teachers and you are at the same time excellent learners. Please continue your journey of this teaching profession where you learn each day and deliver your best to the children to make them lifelong learners. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, technical team as well, and all the panelists and the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Before I conclude, I request Harpreet sir for the concluding remarks. I think so, sir is not there.
Sir is there. Kindly call once more. Harpreet sir, are you there?
Sir, we would like to hear concluding remarks from you.
So sorry, ma'am. I didn't. I was on a call. Sorry, Nidhi ma'am, you said something to me?
Yes, sir. We are waiting for the concluding remarks from your side.
Concluding remarks, matters of Mrs. Rohini Aima. I'll confess you, I had only listened to two panelists very carefully. The rest I could not listen. Number one, remarks always of an accommodation matters. Mrs. Aima's remarks, I didn't even listen to her. What did she said about the program? So my good wishes. End of the day, the purpose is to strengthen your department, giving confidence to your teachers. They already are doing so well, and I hope that they learn and they improve ultimately. Their improvement is ultimately your improvement and our improvement. And I wish them good luck and stay safe. Keep your guards high for next 2 months, and let's hope that we meet soon. Anything else? You tell me. You want anything from my side?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Good wishes. Good wishes. Tell them to, this is all. Tell them to be confident.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Sure. You don't have to read. Tell them to speak accurately. Even if you make mistakes,
that they will surely do.
Doesn't make a mistake. This is an internal platform to improve. So let them be confident.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. I congratulate all the panelists for the captivating performances. We are pleased with their performances. Thank you, all of you. And thank you so much, my technical team, Miss Munmun ma'am, Miss Tanya, and Miss Gitika Gupta. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Munmun, Tanya, and Gitika. Grateful. Thank you, all of you.
I would like to conclude the event with the permission of Rohini ma'am. Ma'am, shall we?
Ma'am, thanks and best wishes to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderfully conducted webinar. Congratulations once again from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.